It is time for episode 3 of the Milwaukee Brewers 2026 top prospects as voted on by the contributors at Brewer Fanatic. Now, we are entering the top 10 today, looking at prospects 6 through 10. So if you are looking for prospects 11 through 20, make sure you look at the videos that led up to this one. We had one for prospects 16 through 20, and then one other one for prospects 11 through 15. Check those out and let us know in the comments who you think should have ended up in the top 10. But without further ado, let's get into that top 10. And leading off the top 10, fourth round pick in 2024, catcher Marco Dingus. Now, something that you can't always say about catchers, but you can say about Dingus, is that he is a strong hitter, posting a 930 OPS and a 161 WRC+, and he swings hard and he hits the ball hard. But what also comes with that is an elevated whiff and strikeout rate, which isn't surprising. Now, that's not to say that he doesn't have a good feel for the strike zone. I mean, he is a catcher after all, but he actually comes with a solid 12.5% walk rate as well. So offensively, he may need just to rein in that aggressive approach just a little bit and try to balance that with a little bit more contact, less whiff, less swing and miss, less strikeouts. Defensively, overall, he's a solid catcher, but even though he has a plus arm, it resulted in a caught stealing rate under 20%. And for a little bit of a deeper dive on this, make sure you check out Spencer Mikolas's article on brewerfanatic.com. But he just points to just some mechanical footwork type of issues that he really needs to just kind of refine, clean up a little bit in order to become a stronger defensive catcher. But like I said at the start of his profile, he has a strong enough bat that even if he's not strong defensively, he could make up for that with his bat. And so the biggest thing is going to be for him is definitely to, again, balance some of that aggressive profile with a little bit more contact. Try to reduce that swing and miss, try to reduce the strikeouts. And then on the defensive side of the ball, just kind of clean things up a little bit and become a little bit of a better defensive catcher. Coming in at number 9, and if you've been following this series or the articles that are on Brewer Fanatic or just have good knowledge of the Brewers system, you know that they've been really good with late round picks, and Bishop Letson is just another one. A right-handed pitcher that was drafted in the 11th round in 2023 is now the 9th ranked prospect in their system. Now, once again, if you're looking for a deeper dive, Spencer Mikolas of Brewer Fanatic wrote up a whole profile on Letson, so make sure you check that out on brewerfanatic.com. But he sits with a mid-90s fastball that plays up because of the elite extension that he has, but his key is really the secondary offerings that are all very good. His best secondary offering is a sweeper, but his sinker and his changeup also have plus movement. And recently he started to develop a cutter that sits in the low 90s, which will be a really good change of pace compared to his fastball. Biggest thing for him in 2026 is going to be for him to show that he can handle a full workload. He was limited to just 41 1/3 innings with shoulder fatigue and also struggles a little bit with commanding the strike zone. So those are going to be the two keys to him being successful. He's kind of a high ceiling type of guy with the risk of a low floor, and it comes down to those two things. And so we're going to see him at AA. And again, if he can develop those, then you're looking at somebody who may not be ace level, but definitely top of the rotation type of guy. Coming in as our 8th rated prospect, the first round pick from 2025, that is third baseman Andrew Fischer. And once again, if you are looking for a deeper dive, make sure you check out Spencer Mikolas's article on brewerfanatic.com. Now, we weren't able to get a complete picture of what he might be able to do in 2025 because of a wrist injury. But in short, he's going to be a power bat, somebody who has a lot of pull side power to his game. And with kind of an uppercut type of swing that is going to leave him vulnerable to, fastballs up in the zone, being able to catch up to those with that pull side power. But ultimately, that is going to be what's going to accelerate him through the minor leagues. Now, Fischer actually played first base in college and then transitioned to third base at the pro level. And so that's obviously going to take some extra practice, some extra time to refine some of those skills, but that is where he does project over the long term. And that's probably good for him, just given his profile. When you are, confined to first base, then your bat becomes even that more important. If he can play both, or if he does shift over the third base, and if he can handle third base at an average to above average level, then there's just less pressure on developing that bat. Now, again, it's too soon to make any sort of proclamations of what type of hitter he will be in pro ball because of the limited sample and just that wrist injury, but many scouts had him as the best college bat in the 2025 class. And so that is what the Brewers are betting on. And again, that could accelerate him through the minor leagues. We'll see him at the mid to upper levels here of the minor leagues in 2026 with the possibility of debuting in 2027. And coming in at number 7, someone we're very familiar with on our prospect list is catcher Jeferson Quero. And 2025 was a little bit rough for him, not necessarily from a productive standpoint, but just from an injury standpoint. Of course, he tore his labrum in his shoulder, which not only impacted his ability to swing, but it also impacted him as a catcher. And then when he did come back, he was struggling with hamstring issues. And so once he was healthy towards the back end of 2025, we did start to see that power reemerge. We saw him continue to be an elite defensive catcher. It didn't quite look like his arm was up to snuff, even though that does expect to be an elite part of his game. But again, he's a rough season from a health standpoint. Obviously, the torn labrum is going to have a huge impact on your ability to throw, but especially as a catcher, being able to pop up and throw with your hamstrings, that's going to impact that as well. Now, for better or worse, the Brewers have a little bit of a logjam at catcher at the major league level, so we're probably going to see Quero start the year at AAA Nashville, and I think that's for the better. Just be able to get him back on his feet, get him back behind the dish, make sure he's healthy, and it's really only going to be a matter of time before he's needed in 2026. And coming in at number 6, one of the many offseason acquisitions for the Milwaukee Brewers, right-handed pitcher Logan Henderson, who made his debut in 2025 and looked phenomenal with a 1.7 ERA and posting 33 strikeouts in 25 1/3 innings. Now, again, that's a very small sample, but obviously that's extremely encouraging. Now, whether he can stick as a starter over the long term is probably going to depend on if he can really develop this curveball that he's been working on in spring training. Otherwise, he offers just a really heavy 2-pitch mix. But that's not to say that 2-pitch mix is very good. Yes, it's only a mid-90s fastball, but he has a very unique arm angle and delivery point for that fastball, and then it comes with some massive carry. And he pairs that with a changeup that has a very good amount of movement and separation from the fastball. And so that 2-pitch mix is what makes his ceiling that of like a high leverage type of reliever, or if he can really develop that curveball into a suitable third pitch that he can use often, then you're looking at a mid to back end rotation type of arm. And again, if you are looking for a deeper dive on Logan Henderson, make sure you visit brewerfanatic.com, where Spencer Mikolas has dedicated an entire article to his profile and scouting report for the Brewers prospect. But that's a wrap on prospects 6 through 10. Let's recap real quick. Number 10, we had Marco Dingus. Number 9, Bishop Letson. Number 8, Andrew Fischer. Number 7, Jeferson Quero. And then number 6, Logan Henderson. Next, we will look at the top 5 prospects in the organization. We all know who's going to be in that list, but drop your prediction in the comments. What is the order of the top 5? And make sure you're following Brewer Fanatic and all their social medias for all your Milwaukee Brewers updates.